Gauge is vibrating against the pin. I'm sitting in the idling truck, the cab smelling of burnt transmission fluid. A strip of black electrical tape covers the check engine, lights glow. The rain is drumming a chaotic rhythm on the hood, blurring the streetlights. Your seatbelt buckle is cold, a heavy slab of steel resting on the leather. The heat of vent blows out a stream of dry, metallic taste in air. I shift the gear lever into neutral, the vibration traveling up my arm. My watch ticks against the dash, each second a slow puncture. In the silence, I'm watching the static on the gauge, waiting for a signal that won't arrive. My heart is a failing cooling system, leaking fluid onto the blackened road. The loneliness is a long stretch of highway, disappearing into a wall of gray fog. I grip the steering wheel until my palms ache, but the path is lost in the mist. This farewell is a blown gasket, billowing white smoke into the freezing night. I find a discarded map in the glove box, the edges torn and smeared with grease. There's a circled destination in the desert, a place we promised to reach by dawn. A single spare spark plug sits in the cup holder, its porcelain cracked and stained. I walk out into the rain, the asphalt slick with the swirling chemical rainbow. The service station sign is dark, the neon letters broken and slumped in the frame. The heavy transport truck screams past, the wind rocking the truck on its springs. I pull my jacket tight, the collar damp and smelling of stagnant diesel fumes. Every mile marker I pass is a tally of the distance between your memory and me. I'm watching the static on the gauge, waiting for a signal that won't arrive. My heart is a failing cooling system, leaking fluid onto the blackened road. The loneliness is a long stretch of highway, disappearing into a wall of gray fog. I grip the steering wheel until my palms ache, but the path is lost in the mist. This farewell is a blown gasket, billowing white smoke into the freezing night. The engine block pings as it cools, a hollow rhythmic damp dark. I remember the afternoon you wiped the windshield, your breath fogging the glass. The transparent memory is a ghost of a view, vanished behind the downpour. Everything is like this stalled engine, the pistons locked, the silence total. the cooling heat remains. Only the static in the wiring, buzzing for a ghost that never calls. The street lamp flickers, throwing long jagged shadows across the cinder path. I'm walking toward the shipyard gate, my boots crunching on the frozen slag. A discarded pipe wrench lies in the mud, its handle wrapped in decaying tape. The wind off the bay carries the sharp chemical sting of low-tide brine. Your scent is a ghost in the humid air, caught between the rust and the oil. The chain link fence hums a low, metallic moan as the gale pushes against it. I reach for the gate handle, but the iron is stinging cold, biting into my palm. My pulse is a steady, rhythmic thud against the silence of the loading docks. I'm walking down the cinder path, a dead-end street paved with all regrets. My heart is a heavy anchor, dragging through the grit of this industrial graveyard. The loneliness is a wall of corrugated steel, blocking out the light of the stars. I grip the freezing iron, hoping for a spark that refuses to jump the gap. This farewell is a smoldering coal, turning into gray ash under my heavy boots. I pass the warehouse where the loading cranes sleep, the cables coiled like snakes. A single fluorescent bulb pulses in the office, casting a strobe on the empty desk. There's a stack of inventory sheets scattered in the alley, the ink washed out by rain. I find a loose copper washer in the dirt, the edge is smoothed by years of traffic. The silence here is a physical weight, pressing the air out of my burning lungs. The fog rolls in, swallowing the silhouettes of the rusted shipping containers. I zip my jacket to the chin, but the dampness finds its way into my brittle bones. Every step on this ash-covered path feels like walking on the debris of our life. I'm walking down the cinder path, a dead-end street paved with all regrets. My heart is a heavy anchor, dragging through the grit of this industrial graveyard. The loneliness is a wall of corrugated steel, blocking out the light of the stars. I grip the freezing iron, hoping for a spark that refuses to jump the gap. This farewell is a smoldering coal, turning into gray ash under my heavy boots. A heavy shipping crate bangs against the dock, the boom reverberating in my chest. I remember the way you held the lantern, your face painted in flickering gold. That light is now just a smudge of soot on the dark, unforgiving window pane. Everything is like this abandoned path, leading nowhere, fading into the dark. Nothing but dust. Only the cold ash remains. Only these hollow echoes bouncing off the rusted walls of the night. Soldering iron rests on the stand, a thin coil of blue smoke rising. I'm staring at the motherboard, connections brittle and gray with age. A single drop of oil from the overhead fan falls onto the circuit path. The smell of burning rosin is sharp, stinging the back of my dry throat. Your name is scratched into the underside of the casing, deep and jagged. The fluorescent tube above the workbench flickers, a dying staccato pulse. I press the iron into the joint, but the lead refuses to melt into a liquid bomb. My fingers are stained with carbon, the black grit ground into my fingerprints. I'm working on cold solder, trying to bridge a gap that's burned away. My heart is a shorted circuit, firing sparks into the void where you should be. Stays permanently broken. This farewell is a dead terminal, humming with static, but carrying no voice. I find a loose jumper wire on the floor, the plastic insulation cracked and dry. The blueprint of our future is folded into a tiny cramped square in the bin. A layer of dust covers the oscillators, muffling the high-frequency whine of the room. I walk to the basement window, but the glass is covered in a sheet of gray frost. The silence in the workshop is heavy, filled with the ghosts of unfinished tasks. The humidity makes the copper traces bleed away. trying to bridge a gap that's burned away. My heart is a shorted circuit, firing sparks into the void where you should be. The loneliness is a layer of oxidation building up on every contact point. I push the iron until the board warps, but the connection stays permanently broken. This farewell is a dead terminal, humming with static, but carrying no voice. A heavy bolt drops from the ceiling, the metallic clang ringing through the rafters. I remember the afternoon. You held the diagram, your shadow blocking the word clamp. That precise, focused light is a memory dimmed, swallowed by the rising shadows. Everything is like this failed component, the potential wasted. The circuit snapped. Returns to the shadows, the board abandoned on the bench. Only the cold solder remains. Only the static in the wiring, buzzing for a signal that will never return. Shortwave radio emits a low, oscillating hum in the corner of the shed. I'm hunched over the receiver, twisting the dial through layers of white noise. A stack of carbon copy telegrams sits under a heavy brass paperweight. Condensation on the window has turned into a sheet of translucent ice. You left your heavy wool coat hanging on the nail, the shoulders coated in fine dust. The antenna outside sways in the wind, clattering against the corrugated roof. I adjust the fine-tuner, but the signal only drifts further into the black. My fingers are stiff from the damp, the cold metal knob biting into my skin. I'm chasing a frozen transmission, a ghost signal trapped in the winter air. My heart is a dead frequency, broadcasting love into a void that never replies. The loneliness is a wall of static, drowning out every word you left behind. I grip the receiver. There's a loose battery terminal on the workbench, leaking a crust of white acid. I wipe the tabletop with a sharp rag, but the grime is embedded in the grain. A discarded Morse code key lies in the debris, the spring rusted into a stiff coil. I walk to the door, but the frame has swollen from the humidity and won't pull tight. The night air rushes in, carrying the scent of pine needles and industrial snow. The radio tubes flicker with a dying orange glow, pulsing in the freezing dark. I pull my scarf up, but the dampness clings to my throat like a thin cold film. Every crackle of the speaker feels like a fracture in the foundation of my life. I'm chasing a frozen transmission, a ghost signal trapped in the winter air. My heart is a dead frequency, broadcasting love into a void that never replies. The loneliness is a wall of static, drowning out every word you left behind. I grip the receiver cord until it snaps, but the silence only deepens the cold. This farewell is a cut wire, leaving me stranded on this side of the mountain. A heavy branch snaps under the weight of the ice, a gunshot in the valley. I remember the way you logged the transmissions, your pencil steady and precise. That recorded history is a pile of waste, the ink faded by the passage of time. Everything is like this abandoned station, the power dimming, the contact lost. Remains only this hollow ache in my chest, tuning into a station that's already off the air. harbor crane is rusted shut, its shadow stretching over the frozen cave. I'm kneeling by the anchor chain, the massive links covered in a thick orange crust. A single seagull feathers caught in the iron, white and brittle against the grime. The tide pulls at the pilings, a low churning sound of water hitting hollow wood. Your name is etched into the wooden ballad, the letters weathered by years of salt. jacket, a sharp invisible knife. I trace the cold rough curve of a chain link, the oxidation stain in my fingertips. My breathing is ragged, the fog of my lungs swirling away into the industrial dark. I'm tied to the anchor chain, a ship that was never meant to leave the bay. My resolve is a rusted out bulkhead, bowing under the weight of the rising tide. The sorrow is a heavy iron link, holding me to the bottom of this desolate harbor. I grip the cold metal until my knuckles turn white, but the weight won't move. This goodbye is a grounded anchor, keeping me anchored to the ghost of our past. The warehouse door is jammed open with a cinder block, the interior hollow, echoing void. I walk past the abandoned welding rigs, the hoses coiled like dead black snakes. A single halogen bulb buzzes overhead, bathing the debris in a harsh, sickly glare. I find a loose welding rod in the dirt, its flux coating chipped away by the frost. The silence in the shipyard has a physical weight, like the pressure of deep water. A sudden squall hits the bay, the rain stinging my face like needles of cold ice. I pull my scarf tight, but the salt air eats into my throat like a bitter chemical. Every iron beam in this yard is a monument to the strength we couldn't sustain. I'm tied to the anchor chain, a ship that was never meant to leave the bay. My resolve is a rusted out bulkhead, bowing under the weight of the rising tide. The sorrow is a heavy iron link, holding me to the bottom of this desolate harbor. I grip the cold metal until my knuckles turn white, but the weight won't move. This goodbye is a grounded anchor, keeping me anchored to the ghost of our past. A distant foghorn blast, a low mournful note shakes the very ground I stand on. I remember the way you measured the draft, your thumb tracing the waterline. The precise, steady motion is a phantom limb, grasping for a ship that's already sailed. Everything is like this heavy anchor, solid and movable, and slowly burying itself in mud. I turn away from the harbor, my footsteps loud and hollow on the salt-crusted concrete. The crane looms behind me, an iron giant guarding the ruins of the tide. Only the cold iron remains. Only this heavy weight in my lungs, dragging me down into the gray harbor water. country crane looms over the shipyard, its iron skeleton etched against the fog. I'm standing on the quay, watching the heavy chain swing in the freezing gale. A layer of salt spray coats the steel, turning the black metal into a rusted orange. The shipping container doors are hanging open, their hinges shrieking in the wind. Your discarded work vest is snagged on a ballad, the reflective tape peeling off. The tide crashes against the concrete pilings, a hollow rhythmic industrial thunder. I reach for the railing, but the dampness turns the metal into a freezing slab. My boots are heavy with the shipyard grime, each step a struggle against the mud. I'm looking up at the heavy gantry, a giant of iron that refuses to move. My life is a grounded crane, locked in place by the weight of all we didn't finish. The sorrow is a rusted pulley, grinding against the wire rope of my failing resolve. I grab the heavy chain, but the links are too cold for any warmth to take hold. This goodbye is a grounded load, suspended in midair, never reaching the deck. The warehouse floor is a graveyard of pallets, splintered and rotting in the damp. I walk past the welding stations, the dark booths smelling of ozone and iron dust. A single loose electrode lies in the puddle, its coating dissolved by the rising rain. I find a discarded welder's mask, the glass lens cracked into a spider web pattern. The silence in the shipyard is absolute, punctuated only by the scream of the gantry. As status quo hits the bay, the rain stinging like tiny grains of coarse sand. I pull my hood down, but the salt water finds its way into the collar of my shirt. Every iron beam in this desolate yard feels like a cage of my own making. I'm looking up at the heavy gantry, a giant of iron that refuses to move. My life is a grounded crane, locked in place by the weight of all we didn't finish. The sorrow is a rusted iron chain, grinding against the wire rope of my failing resolve. I grab the heavy chain, but the links are too cold for any warmth to take hold. This goodbye is a grounded load, suspended in midair, never reaching the deck. A thick fog rolls in from the channel, erasing the horizon and the buoy lights. I remember the way the crane's engine roared, the sound echoing in your steady eyes. That mechanical power is a ghost of a force, a motor that seized long ago. Everything is like this industrial graveyard, frozen, disconnected, and slowly rusting away. this heavy weight in the air, pulling me down into the gray harbor water. The lathe in the corner is coated in a thick, dried layer of metal shavings. I'm watching the dust motes drift in the beam of a harsh yellow work lamp. Your name is scratched into the workbench, the wood splintered by a careless chisel. A half-empty can of machine oil sits on the edge, the lid rusted into place. The basement smells of damp concrete, ozone and the stale ghost of your perfume. The house vibrates as the subway passes deep beneath the foundation of the floor. I pick up a steel file, the rough texture scraping against my numb fingertips. Solitude is a slow turning gear, grinding away the edges of my remaining sanity. I'm working at the lathe of regret, turning memories into a pile of jagged waste. My heart is a seized motor, locked in a permanent state of mechanical failure. The emptiness is a workshop floor littered with the debris of all we couldn't build. I try to set the tool to the mark, but my hands are shaking like a loose bone. This goodbye is a dull, rusted bit, cutting crooked lines into the frame of my life. There's a pile of blueprints on the floor, the paper brittle and yellow with age. I find a spare key to the tool chest, but the lock is fused shut by the humidity. The condensation on the basement window is freezing into intricate icy webs. I walk to the stairs, but the wood groans under my weight, a protest of rot. The silence in the room is a heavy leaden shroud draped over the unfinished work. The halogen bulb overhead buzzes, a high-pitched whine that fills the empty room. I pull my sweater tight, the fiber snagging on the rough edge of the workbench. Every movement I make in this subterranean dark feels like a rehearsal for my end. I'm working at the lathe of regret, turning memories into a pile of jagged waste. My heart is a seized motor, locked in a permanent state of mechanical failure. The emptiness is a workshop floor littered with the debris of all we couldn't build. I try to set the tool to the mark, but my hands are shaking like a loose bolt. This goodbye is a dull, rusted bit, cutting crooked lines into the frame of my life. A heavy wrench drops from the rack, striking the concrete with a final hollow ring. I remember the afternoon you helped me align the belt, your hands over mine. That physical warmth is a phantom ache, a ghost limb reaching for a tool that's gone. Everything is like this seized lathe, the power cut, the progress all turning the same empty circle over again. The engine head lies on the workbench, the lead gasket torn and curled like a dead leaf. I'm picking at the fragments with a screwdriver. The metal is soft and dull under my touch. A puddle of coolant has stained the concrete, shimmering with a toxic oily sheen. You left your wrench set in the wrong order, the 10mm socket missing from the tray. The basement hums with the vibration of the furnace, a low, suffocating pressure. The steam pipe overhead leaks a fine mist, coating the back of my neck in damp grit. I tighten my jaw until my teeth ache, the metal taste of the room filling my mouth. Every shadow in the corner is a tool I failed to use, a job I failed to finish. Freezing air. There's a stack of oil-stained rags in the corner, stiff with the grease of 1,000 shifts. I find a loose spark plug on the floor, the electrode white with carbon deposits. Workbench is covered in fine metal filings, a glitter of debris that hurts my eyes. I walk to the cellar stairs, but the light switch is broken, buried behind a wall of dust. The darkness in the house is heavy, pressing against the ribs of my tired chest. The overhead light flickers its filament, buzzing a frantic, dying SOS. I reach for the cold metal frame of the lathe, the rust orange and biting on my skin. Every mechanical sound in this room is a rhythm of a heart that's lost its beat. I'm sealing my heart with a lead gasket, trying to hold the pressure inside. My soul is a cracked cylinder head, losing compression with every passing day. The loneliness is a slow, steady leak, dripping onto the floor of my hollow life. I tighten the bolts until they strip, but the seal remains open, weeping in the dark. This farewell is a catastrophic blowout, a mess of metal shards and freezing air. A heavy iron weight drops from the shelf, striking the concrete with the final hollow ring. I remember the afternoon you held the gasket, your hand steady against the heat. The gentle strength is a ghost of a tool discarded, lost in a pile of rusted iron. Everything is like this dismantled engine, the parts scattered, the fire long dead. Only the cooling iron remains. Only this hollow space in the engine, leaking the memory of you into the night. The scrapyard fence is lined with crushed engine blocks and twisted rebar. I'm standing in the slush, watching a magnetic crane hoist a pile of sheet and metal. A single chrome hubcap rolls across the yard, clattering against a stack of tires. The air is thick with the smell of wet iron, ozone, and the bitterness of winter. Your old work ID card is wedged in a pile of debris, the plastic yellowed and cracked. The hydraulic hiss of the crane echoes through the valley along mechanical side. I kick a piece of shattered glass into the sludge. The sound sharp and brittle. The humidity makes the rusted iron feel like it's weeping orange tears into the mud. I'm carrying a scrap metal heart, forging the debris of a factory fire. My life is a heap of twisted girders, discarded by the world we tried to build. The sorrow is a heavy iron chain, pinning me to the floor of this desolate yard. I search the wreckage for a piece of us, but find only the sharp edges of ruin. This goodbye is a magnetic release, dropping all my hope into the crushing dark. I walk toward the furnace building, the door sagging off their industrial hinges. There's a ledger on the foreman's desk. The entry stops in the middle of a line. A single graphite pencil lies on the page. Its lead snapped by the weight of time. I find a loose brass nut in the dust. It's threading smooth from years of friction. The silence inside the hall is immense, holding the echoes of 1,000 finished shifts. A stray metal pipe falls from the rafters, striking the concrete floor with a ring. I shiver as one final time before the power grid finally snaps. I remember the way you measured the steel, your callous thumb tracing the line. That precise, steady touch is a missing part, a gear that won't engage the assembly. Everything is like this scrapyard, a collection of broken things meant for the furnace. This mechanical ache in my chest, beating in time with the rusting rain. Conveyor belt halted in the middle of the hall. I'm standing by the central pulley, the heavy leather belt hanging slack and dry. A single drop of machine oil has carved a path through the dust on the iron frame. Skylight above is cracked, letting in a shaft of pale, uncaring moonlight. Your safety goggles are resting on the control panel, the strap stretched and limp. The factory floor groans as the temperature drops, the metal contracting in the dark. I reach for the lever, but the heavy casting is locked by a thick coat of oxidation. My palms are calloused, the skin rough against the sharp industrial surfaces. I'm staring at a rusting pulley, a mechanical heart that's forgotten how to turn. A stalled assembly, the parts frozen in place by the weight of the years. The sorrow is a heavy iron chain pinning me to the floor of this empty hall. I pull on the rusted handle, but the resistance is absolute, a wall of jagged steel. This goodbye is a seized bearing, creating nothing but friction and the smell of rot. There's a crate of discarded bolts in the aisle, the metal covered in a reddish bloom. I walk past the inspection desk where a half-finished report lies under a heavy wrench. The smell of cooling grease and ozone is trapped in the rafters, stagnant and bitter. I find a loose brass bushing in the grit, turning it over until my thumb bleeds. The silence in this place has a texture, a thick suffocating dust that coats my soul. A stray metal shaving catches the light, a tiny silver needle in the murky dark. I pull my jacket tight, the cold radiating from the massive steel supports. Every step I take through the debris sounds like a final echoing verdict. I'm staring at a rusting pulley, a mechanical heart that's forgotten how to turn. My life is a stalled assembly, the parts frozen in place by the weight of the years. The sorrow is a heavy iron chain pinning me to the floor of this empty hall. I pull on the rusted handle, but the resistance is absolute, a wall of jagged steel. This goodbye is a sea's bearing, creating nothing but friction and the smell of rot. The overhead crane rattles as the wind shears against the roof, a giant sob. I remember the afternoon you synchronized the machines, your face full of pride. That industrial harmony is a broken rhythm, a song that lost its melody long ago. Everything is like this assembly line, a collection of tools waiting for a hand that's gone. Shadows of the rising mountain frost. Only the cold steel remains. Only this friction in my soul, spinning against a wheel that refuses to move. Vibrating against the pin. I'm sitting in the idling truck, the cab smelling of burnt transmission fluid. A strip of black electrical tape covers the check engine lights glow. The rain is drumming a chaotic rhythm on the hood, blurring the streetlights. Your seatbelt buckle is cold, a heavy slab of steel resting on the leather. The heater vent blows out a stream of dry, metallic taste in air. I shift the gear lever into neutral, the vibration traveling up my arm. My watch ticks against the dash, each second a slow puncture. In the silence, I'm watching the static on the gauge, waiting for a signal that won't arrive. My heart is a failing cooling system, leaking fluid onto the blackened road. The loneliness is a long stretch of highway, disappearing into a wall of gray fog. I grip the steering wheel until my palms ache, but the path is lost in the mist. This farewell is a blown gasket, billowing white smoke into the freezing night. I find a discarded map in the glove box, the edges torn and smeared with grease. There's a circled destination in the desert, a place we promised to reach by dawn. A single spare spark plug sits in the cup holder, its porcelain cracked and stained. I walk out into the rain, the asphalt slick with the swirling chemical rainbow. The service station sign is dark, the neon letters broken and slumped in the frame. The heavy transport truck screams past, the wind rocking the truck on its springs. I pull my jacket tight, the collar damp and smelling of stagnant diesel fumes. Every mile marker I pass is a tally of the distance between your memory and me. I'm watching the static on the gauge, waiting for a signal that won't arrive. My heart is a failing cooling system, leaking fluid onto the blackened road. The loneliness is a long stretch of highway, disappearing into a wall of gray fog. I grip the steering wheel until my palms ache, but the path is lost in the mist. This farewell is a blown gasket, billowing white smoke into the freezing night. The engine block pings as it cools, a hollow rhythmic damp dark. I remember the afternoon you wiped the windshield, your breath fogging the glass. The transparent memory is a ghost of a view, vanished behind the downpour. Everything is like this stalled engine, the pistons locked, the silence total. The silence total. Clear glass, only the cooling heat remains. Only the static in the wiring, buzzing for a ghost that never calls. The street lamp flickers, throwing long jagged shadows across the cinder path. I'm walking toward the shipyard gate, my boots crunching on the frozen slag. The discarded pipe wrench lies in the mud, its handle wrapped in decaying tape. The wind off the bay carries the sharp chemical sting of low-tide brine. Your scent is a ghost in the humid air, caught between the rust and the oil. The chain link fence hums a low, metallic moan as the gale pushes against it. I reach for the gate handle, but the iron is stinging cold, biting into my palm. My pulse is a steady, rhythmic thud against the silence of the loading docks. I'm walking down the cinder path, a dead-end street paved with all regrets. My heart is a heavy anchor, dragging through the grit of this industrial graveyard. The loneliness is a wall of corrugated steel, blocking out the light of the stars. I grip the freezing iron, hoping for a spark that refuses to jump the gap. This farewell is a smoldering coal, turning into gray ash under my heavy boots. I pass the warehouse where the loading cranes sleep, the cables coiled like snakes. A single fluorescent bulb pulses in the office, casting a strobe on the empty desk. There's a stack of inventory sheets scattered in the alley, the ink washed out by rain. I find a loose copper washer in the dirt, the edge is smoothed by years of traffic. The silence here is a physical weight, pressing the air out of my burning lungs. The fog rolls in, swallowing the silhouettes of the rusted shipping containers. I zip my jacket to the chin, but the dampness finds its way into my brittle bones. Every step on this ash-covered path feels like walking on the debris of our life. I'm walking down the cinder path, a dead-end street paved with all regrets. My heart is a heavy anchor, dragging through the grit of this industrial graveyard. The loneliness is a wall of corrugated steel, blocking out the light of the stars. I grip the freezing iron, hoping for a spark that refuses to jump the gap. This farewell is a smoldering coal, turning into gray ash under my heavy boots. A heavy shipping crate bangs against the dock, the boom reverberating in my chest. I remember the way you held the lantern, your face painted in flickering gold. That light is now just a smudge of soot on the dark, unforgiving window pane. Everything is like this abandoned path, leading nowhere, fading into the dark. I turn Soldering iron rests on the stand, a thin coil of blue smoke rising. I'm staring at the motherboard, connections brittle and gray with age. A single drop of oil from the overhead fan falls onto the circuit path. The smell of burning rosin is sharp, stinging the back of my dry throat. Your name is scratched into the underside of the casing, deep and jagged. The fluorescent tube above the workbench flickers, a dying staccato pulse. I press the iron to the joint, but the lead refuses to melt into a liquid bomb. My fingers are stained with carbon, the black grit ground into my fingerprints. I'm working on a cold solder, trying to bridge a gap that's burned away. My heart is a shorted circuit, firing sparks into the void where you should be. I find a loose jumper wire on the floor, the plastic insulation cracked and dry. The blueprint of our future is folded into a tiny cramped square in the bin. A layer of dust covers the oscillators, muffling the high frequency whine of the room. I walk to the basement window, but the glass is covered in a sheet of gray frost. The silence in the workshop is heavy, filled with the ghosts of unfinished tasks. The humidity makes the copper traces bleed, a web of green corrosion spreading. I pull my sweater tight, the loose threads catching on the sharp edge of the heat sink. Every movement in this sterile, frozen space feels like a final failing calculation. I'm working on a cold solder, trying to bridge a gap that's burned away. My heart is a shorted circuit, firing sparks into the void where you should be. The loneliness is a layer of oxidation, building up on every contact point. I push the iron until the board warps, but the connection stays permanently broken. This farewell is a dead terminal, humming with static, but carrying no voice. A heavy bolt drops from the ceiling, the metallic clang ringing through the rafters. I remember the afternoon, you held the diagram, your shadow blocking the word clamp. That precise, focused light is a memory dimmed, swallowed by the rising shadows. Everything is like this failed component, the potential wasted, the circuit snap. signal that will never return.
Shortwave radio emits a low, oscillating hum in the corner of the shed. I'm hunched over the receiver, twisting the dial through layers of white noise. A stack of carbon copy telegrams sits under a heavy brass paperweight. Condensation on the window has turned into a sheet of translucent ice.
You left your heavy wool coat hanging on the nail. The shoulders coated in fine dust. The antenna outside sways in the wind, clattering against the corrugated roof.
I adjust the fine-tuner, but the signal only drifts further into the black. My fingers are stiff from the damp,
The cold metal knob biting into my skin. I'm chasing a frozen transmission, a ghost signal trapped in the winter air. My heart is a dead frequency, broadcasting love into a void that never replies. The loneliness is a wall of static, drowning out every word you left behind. I grip the receiver cord until it snaps, but the silence only deepens the cold. This farewell is a cut wire,
leaving me stranded on this side of the mountain. There's a loose battery terminal on the workbench, leaking a crust of white acid. I wipe the tabletop with a sharp rag, but the grime is embedded in the grain.
a discarded Morse code key lies in the debris. The spring rusted into a stiff coil.
I walk to the door, but the frame has swollen from the humidity and won't pull tight.
The night air rushes in, carrying the scent of pine needles and industrial snow. The radio tubes flicker with a dying orange glow, pulsing in the freezing dark. I pull my scarf up,
But the dampness clings to my throat like a thin cold film. Every crackle of the speaker feels like a fracture in the foundation of my life.
I'm chasing a frozen transmission, a ghost signal trapped in the winter air. My heart is a dead frequency, broadcasting love into a void that
Never replies.
the loneliness is a wall of static, drowning out every word you left behind. I grip the receiver cord until it snaps, but the silence only deepens the cold. This farewell is a cut wire,
Leaving me stranded
on this side of the mountain.
A heavy branch snaps under the weight of the ice.
A gunshot in the valley. I remember the way you logged the transmissions, your pencil steady and precise. That recorded history is a pile of waste, the ink faded by the passage of time.
Everything is like this abandoned station, the power dimming, the contact lost. Remains only this hollow ache in my chest, tuning into a station that's already off the air.